I brought wine, a smile, and hope. They gave me silence and a locked door.
My name is Ethan. I'm 31, and for most of my life, I felt like a ghost in my own family. The kind of person people remember only when it's convenient. A lift to the airport, help moving boxes, someone to blame when dinner gets awkward. But when it came to being seen, really seen, I was invisible. My mother, Janice, had a way of remembering things that made her look better. She could bring up every moment I disappointed her with terrifying clarity, but somehow forgot the times I cleaned the house, helped pay bills, or showed up when no one else did. Then there was my younger brother, Caleb, the golden child. Charming, polished, always knowing what to say. He learned early that smiling and staying agreeable earned him applause. I never played that game. I asked questions. I told the truth. I didn't wear the mask they all expected. And in a family like mine, where image was everything and honesty was treated like rebellion, that made me the outsider. For years, I tried to fix that. I'd show up to birthdays I wasn't invited to, bring gifts that no one acknowledged, and laugh at jokes that stung. All because I thought if I just kept trying, they'd finally let me in. By the time I turned 28, reality set in. It didn't matter how hard I tried. My place in the family was always going to be conditional, a guest star, never part of the main cast. But no matter how much sense that made in my head, the ache never really left. So last Thanksgiving, when the usual invite never came, I almost stayed home. Almost. The only reason I reconsidered was because of my cousin, Lily. She's 2 years younger, but far wiser than most of the adults at the table. She and I had gotten close. Late-night calls, honest messages, a bond that wasn't built on pretending. The day before Thanksgiving, she texted, "You better show up. I saved your seat." And because it was her, I decided to go. The drive was a little under an hour to my uncle's house, where every holiday was hosted like it was a staged production. Neatly trimmed hedges, an inflatable turkey on the front lawn, and that familiar mix of cinnamon, tension, and forced laughter drifting out the windows. I parked down the street, like always, since the driveway was always full by the time I arrived. I walked up the front steps, holding a bottle of wine I knew no one would touch. Through the screen door, I saw them. Janice, my uncle, Caleb, everyone laughing and smiling like a stock photo for perfect families. I didn't expect a hug. I didn't even expect eye contact. But what happened still caught me off guard. As I reached for the doorknob, the door opened just a sliver, and there was Uncle Ted, blocking the doorway like a bouncer. "You're not family anymore, Ethan. You need to leave," he said. I laughed. I thought it was a bad joke, but he didn't budge. Behind him, I saw my mother handing a name card, mine, to Caleb's girlfriend. They laughed, toasted. "I'm serious," Uncle Ted added. "You showing up just causes problems." "I haven't even walked in yet," I replied. He gave me a pitying shrug. "Let's not make this harder than it has to be. Just head home, all right?" Behind him, Janice took a sip of wine without flinching. She saw me. She chose not to say a word. I thought about yelling, demanding answers, making a scene, but instead, I nodded. I stepped back, walked down the stairs, wine bottle still in hand. I drove 2 blocks, pulled over, and sat in silence. I wasn't angry. I was done. But what they didn't know was that I had been preparing for this. Lily and I had talked about it often, how the family wore masks, how they rewrote history to suit themselves. She once told me all it takes is one spark to burn the illusion. That night, I lit the match. From my car, I opened the draft I had been working on for weeks. Not a rant, not an emotional plea, just the truth. Short, raw, undeniable. I hit send, and it went out to 7 people in that house. 5 minutes later, I watched from the corner of the street as the front door opened. First Lily, storming out. Then my cousin Jake. Then his girlfriend. Then family friends who had always been kind to me. I didn't hear the shouting inside. I didn't need to. The illusion had cracked. My phone rang. It was Lily. "Ethan?" she snapped. "What did you just do?" I said, "You read it." Of course I did. And so did everyone else. Uncle Ted looked like he was going to explode. Your mom pretended not to understand. Caleb looked like he saw a ghost. She paused. "Why didn't you tell me you were recording them?" The truth is, I'd been saving things. Texts, recordings, Screenshots, nothing malicious, just proof of how they lied, of how they twisted things, of how they erased me. The clip I sent was 5 minutes long. No rants, no emotional pleas, just conversations, timestamps, silence that said more than words. I didn't tell you, I said quietly, because I didn't want you caught in the middle. Too late, she replied, but I'm glad you did it. I watched more cars pull away from the house. Then came another call. My Aunt Rachel. Ethan, she said, breathless. Where are you? I'm down the street. Stay there. I'm coming. 5 minutes later, she climbed into the passenger seat of my car. I listened to all of it, she said. I had no idea. I mean, I knew they were cold to you, but this was calculated. You didn't notice? I asked. I saw kisses, she admitted, but my mom always said you were dramatic, that you made things up. I said, she didn't lie, she just edited. Aunt Rachel nodded slowly. This will tear the family apart. Then maybe it was already broken. That night, messages poured in. Some angry, some sorry, some silent. But the silence from Janice, Caleb, and Uncle Ted, that was the loudest. Until the next morning, when my mom posted a long, vague status online about betrayal and family loyalty. She didn't use my name, but everyone knew. People chimed in with sympathy, saying I was ungrateful, saying I was cruel. But then Lily commented, so did Jake. Then Rachel. And then more. People started pushing back, sharing their own stories. The thread exploded. Some deleted their comments, some blocked me, but the tide was turning. For once, I wasn't alone. That weekend, Caleb's girlfriend messaged me. I didn't know, she wrote. If I had, I never would have taken your seat. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The message had been delivered, and it wasn't over yet. A few days later, Lily called me again. Guess who's suddenly posting about healing and forgiveness now? She asked. Janice? Yep, with pictures of Caleb and a caption about the only son who ever mattered. Real subtle. I sighed. Let her pretend. That's all she ever really cared about. But it didn't stop there. Someone leaked the full audio files, not just what I sent. Everything. Every passive-aggressive jab, every manipulation, every time they laughed about rewriting history. It went viral in a local family group online, not because it was scandalous, but because it was familiar. So many people had lived through the same thing. Suddenly, people I hadn't heard from in years were reaching out. Old friends, distant cousins, even one of my teachers. One message stood out. You reminded me that I wasn't crazy for walking away. Thank you. And that's when I realized maybe this wasn't just about revenge. Maybe it was about giving other people permission to leave behind what hurt them. So I kept posting. Not about them, about healing, boundaries, truth. Lily started her own page. Rachel backed her. Others joined. The family splintered. But what remained was real, honest, chosen. And me? I finally felt seen. Not because they changed, but because I stopped needing them to.
2 weeks passed, but the silence was loud. The family group chat was renamed, just holiday plans. My name wasn't there. Lily sent me a screenshot. No words, just that. I stared at it, then turned off my phone. That was the day it really hit me. I wasn't part of that world anymore. And maybe that was okay. At first I thought they'd reach out. Someone, anyone, Uncle Mark maybe. But nothing. Not even a passive-aggressive text. Instead, Caleb started doing PR. He messaged mutual cousins, spinning stories like Oliver misinterpreted. It was just a family joke. He blew it out of proportion. But the receipts I sent, the audio, the texts, the years of being gaslighted, they told their own story. Quietly, a few cousins stopped replying to Caleb. A couple even reached out to me. Hey, I had no idea. Or, I'm sorry we didn't see it sooner. It wasn't a flood, but it was something. Aunt Rachel, the one who gave me that quiet nod at Thanksgiving, started hosting her own dinners. Just a few of us. Me, Lily, her wife Taylor, a couple friends. Less formal, more real. We cooked together, laughed. Nobody corrected anyone's politics or mocked anyone's job. At one of those dinners, Lily looked at me and said, "It's wild how much space they took up in your head. And now that they're gone, there's room to breathe. I nodded. It's like I'm finally meeting myself again. That winter, Caleb messaged me. First, it was just a thumbs up to one of my old Facebook posts. Then, Caleb, coming to Grandma's birthday? Me. Didn't get an invite. Oh, probably just a mistake. Sure it was. I didn't go. Grandma texted me later that night. Missed you today. It was all. I felt guilty for a moment, but then I remembered the guilt wasn't mine to carry anymore. Months later, Lily and I took a road trip that spring. Just us and the open highway. Somewhere outside Ashenhill, she pulled over and made us sandwiches on the hood of the car. We ate in silence, watching the sunset bleed into the trees. I think I'm done, I said suddenly. Done with what? Trying to win people who never saw me. She nodded. Took you long enough. We both laughed, and I swear something heavy lifted off my chest. By the time summer came, things had shifted. Uncle Mark finally reached out. He invited me to grab coffee. You know, you really shook things up, he said. Did I? He stirred his espresso. People are actually talking now, not always nicely, but it's different, less fake. I shrugged. Glad to be your family's earthquake. He smiled, but there was something else behind it. Guilt? Regret? Doesn't matter. I wasn't there for his redemption. I was there for mine. The knock at my door came on a Sunday morning. I wasn't expecting anyone. Still in sweatpants, coffee half sipped, I opened it cautiously. It was my cousin Jenna. We hadn't spoken since the blow-up. She looked older, tired maybe, but her arms were full. A cardboard box, scuffed and taped, cradled like it was fragile. Hey, she said. I raised an eyebrow. You lost? She smiled faintly. No, I'm just really late. I let her in. She didn't sit, just placed the box on my table. I was cleaning out Mom's garage, she said. Found this. Thought it might matter to you. Inside were old photo albums, school drawings, letters I'd written Grandma from summer camp, even a VHS tape labeled Oliver's 4th birthday. My throat tightened. I didn't know they kept any of this, I said. Neither did I. She hesitated. Look, I didn't handle things well. None of us did. But I saw what Caleb said, and I know now he wasn't honest. I'm sorry. It wasn't a grand apology, no strings of tears. Just that. But it hit. I nodded slowly. Thank you. She lingered for a second, then backed toward the door. If you ever want to come to dinner, mine are nothing like theirs, she added. I smiled. We'll see. She left, and I sat with the box for hours, flipping through pages, hearing voices I hadn't heard in years, a lifetime ago.